Hey everyone, it's Dylan. Today we're going to be doing part 2 on our series of sawgrass Native American bird call necklaces. Wow, that's a mouthful. Alright, so I'm going to go over the things you're going to need. You're going to need your sawgrass whistle, of course, as well as at least 2 arm lengths of thread. You're going to need hair pipe bone beads. These are about an inch, I do believe. You're going to need 6mm gemstone beads of your choosing. I'm using lava rock. You're also going to need seed beads. You might need a tape measure, depending on if you're good at eyeing it out or not. You might not need it. I like to use these pliers for when I go to put these silver findings on the end of the rope that we're going to be beading. You're going to use scissors to cut it, and then a lighter to burn off the ends. Alright, let's get started. So what I do first is I get out 2 arm lengths of leather. 2 arm lengths of string. Actually, I'm going to just do 1.5 arm lengths. By arm lengths, I just stretch my arm out while pulling out the string. I think that should be good. I did 1.5 just to be safe. Usually when I'm doing this myself, I do 1 arm length. Alright, we don't really need that anymore. So what I do next is I get and find the centerpiece of this rope. The very center. And as you can see, the other 2 strands are together pretty well. So this is basically the center of it. Now I'm going to take this center and I'm going to put it right here where I blow into the whistle at. I'm going to wrap it right here. About 6 times. Going in each direction. So I put it kind of like right there in the middle between this sound hole and the end where you blow into the whistle. I get it tight. You can see kind of how my hands are working with this. You're going to wrap, pick the direction you want to go in, and you're just going to wrap it like so. And try not to overlap. That's 2 because we already wrapped once. 3. And then I'm going to do another 3 on this side. Actually, it's 7 times that we're wrapping it because the first wrap was the starting wrap. So this is 2, 3. Just making sure it's nice and tight. What I'm doing is I'm pushing the string together and placing it into the place that I want it to be before I tighten it and tie it into a square knot. So now that you got your string, your thread, I'm using wax thread. It's about half a millimeter, or 0.5 millimeters in diameter. So once you get it like this, you're just going to tie a simple knot. So what I like to do is I like to go right over left and then pull it up through the loop. So we're doing a square knot, which is just right over left, left over right. Right over left, left over right. I'm trying to get where you can see it better. See what I'm doing. And you kind of want to make sure your knot is right behind where the sound edge is, where the sound hole is. As you can see, that's the start of a square knot, just a basic simple knot. So now we're just going to go left over right. And then right over left again, and left over right again. Alright, one more time. Just for good measure. There we go. Now you kind of want it to hang like that, because when you're wearing it, you want it to hang where it is facing in front of you. So now what we will do is we'll just go ahead and start putting beads on it. Now for the right strand, the strand on the right side of the whistle, I like to put the lobster claw silver fining on it, which is this thing right here. I think that's a lobster claw silver fining. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm doing a pattern of black, red, orange, yellow, and then black again. I'll try to get this a little bit closer so you can see more of what I'm doing. Oh, fumble. So what I'm doing is, I don't know if you can see that, I put a black one to start it off. And then I'm doing 2 reds, 2 oranges, 2 yellows, and 2 whites. Then I'm going to put another black bead in the center of that pattern. And then I'm going to do the opposite going back down, or going back up the string. Now, those of you who bead a lot are probably shaking your head at this video because I'm not a good beader. I mean, I bead sometimes, but it's not like what I do all the time. I'd prefer to be outside in the workshop making flutes, honestly. But I do enjoy beading. It just really slows you down and helps you focus for a long period of time. I really do enjoy that about it. Once I finish up this half of the pattern, I'm going to show you how it's looking so far. I know a lot of people would probably be trying to do this with a needle instead of just putting it on the thread, but I find it easier to do it this way in this particular type of piece that I'm making. As you can see, this is how the pattern is going to look. And it's going to go white, yellow, orange, red, and black back down the same way. Yesterday I was in the shop and I made something out of deer antler for the first time. I don't know if you were following me on my social medias, but if you are, you would see the deer antler whistles that I made, as well as I'm making some deer antler rings pretty soon as well. I make 2 pinky rings, I believe, out of some deer antler. Hopefully I can make it at least a pinky ring out of the knots that were attached to the skull of the deer, the buck. I kind of want to use every part of it that I can. Alright, now that we're at the end of the pattern for our seed beads, I'm going to put my gemstone bead, which is a 6mm round bead, here. Then I'm going to put my hair pipe bead here, and then I'll put another 6mm bead here, and then I'm just going to repeat the pattern up. This one looks like it is clogged up. So what I'm going to do to unclog it is I'm going to take a needle from one of my beading sets and just push it right through. Something is clogged up in there real tight. Wow. That thing is really clogged up. Usually this doesn't happen. I wonder if there's something stuck up in there, or got something stuck up in there somehow. Ooh, I don't want to stab myself with a needle. Definitely not. But yeah, I don't know if I can use this one. Yeah, it's getting through it. It's getting through it. I just have to... There we go. I think that made enough of a hole for me to put that thread through at least. That's a little tip I learned for beads that aren't necessarily hollow for a thread to go through it, because now you can see the thread went right through it. So I'm pretty happy about, because this is the only 6 of these types of hair pipe bone beads I have left. So that was quite handy that I actually was able to make use of it. If you're wondering what this is in the background, that reflection is my Xbox. I was listening to music earlier while I was beading, and the 2 glass aquariums are frog tanks, frog enclosures. I have 2 toads and 1 Pac-Man frog. The 2 toads are Chub and Elvis, and my Pac-Man frog is named Lemon because she's very yellow. Yeah, she's just a big yellow blob. I love her very much for being a yellow blob, because watching her brings me so much joy. She's so silly for a frog. I mean, all she does is just sit in one place. She'll literally sit in one place for weeks and not even move a single muscle. And when she does move, it's either to eat or to get up and find a new dig spot to burrow in. Just sit there and wait for something. I think that's how they just survive, is they just sit and wait for something, and when it comes by them, they just yank it up and eat it. Just gobble it up. But it's really cool. I believe the Pac-Man frogs are from South America as well. The 2 toads I have are southern toads. One's a southern toad and one is an American toad. Funny enough, my family calls me Frogman. I'm the Frogman. The Frogman and the flute guy. Looks like we're about to hit the end of this part of the pattern. Ooh, I messed up. I'm glad I caught myself. I was supposed to add 2 reds again before I add that black bead. Now these seed beads they're around, I do not know the size of them actually. I usually just buy them by eye. I get all my beads from the art store in Pembroke, Eagle Feather Arts. And I believe they get their beads from Crazy Crow Trading Post. I just like to go in there because it's more convenient for me to just go in there and walk out with what I need. And the prices actually aren't even that bad. For an art store, that is. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. Looks like it's going to be actually quite long. And when I'm talking and trying to bead, I cannot bead as fast, I've noticed. I'm just not very good at multitasking, or I'm not used to talking while I'm doing this stuff. I'm usually just collecting my thoughts, lost in my thoughts while I do this, thinking, reflecting. Just taking the time to sit down and relax and just take a break from everything during the day. That's what's so beautiful about beading. That could be said about anything, like painting, any kind of hobby, painting, woodworking. Except woodworking is more like labor induced, and painting, I get. Well, painting, you got a lot of it ain't like you're just not doing anything when you're painting. I feel like you're just more labor intense if you're doing any kind of woodworking. Especially if you're, and even more so if you're doing metalworking, I feel. Any type of fabrication, at least, or something like that. Be more work. I feel like beading and painting are like right there at the same level, you know what I mean? If we were going to scale things on levels, I feel like beading and painting go hand in hand. Now, there's obviously way better ways you can do this. I recommend just looking around at other videos on beading if this is your first time beading anything. There's way better tutorials on how to bead than this one, because I'm not, like I said, I don't do very much beading. I'm more out in the wood shop doing woodworking things. We're almost at the end of this side of the necklace. I really like this pattern. I actually came up with this pattern just messing around, seeing what looked cool. I got inspiration from looking at this right here, lighter cover actually. I got inspiration for this pattern. Now, depending on what kind of wax thread you're using, if you're using wax thread, it might start splintering up like that, making it hard to go through the bead. I don't know if you can see that very well, but let it focus. But you can kind of see how it's splintering off. If that happens, you can just take like a sharp knife or some scissors and just cut you a little bit off of it. Make it a little bit better for you. Trying to get it real tight so I can cut it like that. And now you got a nice straight end, well, semi-straight end now to work with. Looks like I'm going to have to go back and buy some more beads pretty soon. But this is the end of the first row of the necklace. I'm going to push it tight all the way down to the whistle. And then I'm going to put my lobster clasp finding on it. Doesn't matter which way you do it. You just put it through the hole. And to tie this on, I'm going to do a little close-up of this. I like to get it really close to the row strand of beads. And I take this strand and I put it parallel to this one and squeeze it like this. Then I take my finger and I run 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. Now, I take my thread, end of my thread, and I run it up in that loop right here where my finger's at. Just like that. You just pull it and it tightens up right there where it needs to be. A little bit of slack between the beads and the finding, but that's fine. It'll make it easier for people to put it on. Now what I will do is I'll go ahead and cut this side and burn it off. Yeah, very dull scissors right now. I'm using my sharp ones right now, so that's why I'm having to cut it like that. But now, be very careful when you use fire in any way, as you know, I'm sure. You're going to tap it like that with the bottom of your lighter. And then tug on it, make sure it ain't going to come out. Alright, it looks good. Now let's do the other side. Funny enough, I'm recording on garbage day again. I don't know if you can hear the trucks outside. And I really like this pattern as well because it's a variety of beads. The only extra bead you're using out of 2 is that third black bead in the center of the pattern. I actually messed up right now. I had 1 extra white bead on that I should not have had. But I caught that before I went ahead and done it, because then I might have had to restart the whole necklace. Like, beading can be very brutal in that sense. You work so long on something, and then one little thing might mess up, and wow, boy does it bug you. But sometimes you gotta embrace our imperfections. Not every piece has to be perfect. Actually, with Native American artists, we learn to embrace our imperfections. A lot of, I believe it's Navajo, will put an imperfection in their silversmithing or their beadwork just to stand out or show that it's their unique piece, you know. It's starting to have that same problem again where the end of the thread is wanting to frizz up on me. If it's ever frizzing up on you, you can kind of twist it into the bead. But this one's frizzing up way too bad to do that right now. I have to cut it again. This one does not want me to work with it. Just use a different one, different bead. There we go. Well, the end of the string is starting to frizz up on me again. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's frizzing up on me again. But I'm still able to work with it, so I'm going to continue without cutting it again. I'll work with it for as long as I can. If you cut and cut so much off, eventually you're not going to have any left. But now it's not wanting to work with me, so I'm going to have to cut it. There we go. Want a clean cut when you cut it. Well, I believe this is going to turn out to be quite a good video. And I think it's going to end around the between the 30 to 40 minute mark. Got one more hair pipe bone bead after this one. Oh, don't want that to fall. Save the beads. Every bead counts. Oh, no! I dropped the bead. Don't worry, I found it. I know exactly where it fell. Save the beads, everybody. No bead left behind. Ever. Sorry about the cutting video. I am back exactly where the video cut off. My iPhone storage was full. So now I cleared out some of my storage and now we're back to where we left off. We're almost done. So close. So close to being done. Oh, no. Dropping all the beads today, guys. Luckily, I'm not losing any. Sometimes I know when I drop a bead, sometimes the house will eat it and I'll never see it again. These little seed beads are so easy to drop and so easy to lose as well. On the last bone bead. I'm so happy that my iPhone actually kept the footage instead of erasing it. That would have really sucked, because then I'd have to do the whole video over again. But thankfully, don't have to do that. I'm on the home stretch right now, guys. Guys and gals. All right. We are ready to try on the final findings. As you can see, that's a beautiful pattern for a necklace. So for these findings, the ones I have, and I'm working with right now, they come apart like this. So what I do is I get my needle nose, or get my pliers, my regular pliers, and I just squeeze them together. And make sure they're tight so it doesn't come off the string. I mean, you can get it pretty tight and it'll pretty much never come off. I've never had a problem with these because they're very sturdy. And we're basically going to tie it on the same way we tie it on the other side. And grab the thread together like this. Take my finger, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then take the thread and go straight up through it. Make sure your beads are tight against your whistle now as well, because that is the most important part, for me at least. I mean, you can make it the way you want it, but preferably I like mine to be kind of snug. My thing came out. Well, that's a good thing actually. I was actually pulling on it too hard. I'm going to put it right back through where it came out of. Actually, I'm going to grab another one because it's going to be easier, because that one's still kind of closed together. And push it right through there. This is where fine handwork really comes in handy. There we go. See, you can fix just about anything you want to. There we go. Now, I think this is actually a little bit looser than I want it, but that's fine. You can tighten it up just fine. Alright, so for these, I like to get at least 5 of them together. The little silver findings. I make a chain, basically, a link chain with them. I'll show you once I'm done with this part of it. It actually came together really nice. That link right there did. Right, so this is my 3rd link, I do believe. Came together nicely. My 4th link. Came together nicely as well. And this is my last link I'm going to put on this one. I'm only putting 5 on this one. Yeah. And she is done. Now, follow all these steps and you will have yourself a nice necklace. Whistle necklace. Bird call necklace even. But yeah, it actually wasn't too far off of where I wanted it to. As you can see, there is some slack. There's quite a bit of slack right here on the side, but that's fine. It really doesn't show up once you're wearing it too much. Now if I was taking my time, I really could have got this a lot better. I'd probably still get it. Oh no, see, this is what happens when you gotta be gentle with your material. It wasn't too much of a break because I can fix this right now. All that happened was my loop on one of my links came out for me pulling on it so hard. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it back together with my pliers. Fine work. There we go. It's actually looking better than it was before. All right, now I think the only thing in order is for me to tie it, cut off the ends of this rope, this thread, and then burn them. And then we'll have a finished necklace. All right. All right. I want to thank all of y'all for watching. And if you haven't checked out the first part of this video, go ahead and check that out. I'll link it in the bio, in the description of the video. Take care and stay blessed.